Just one night, I told her. To honor him, I said, as if that justified my decision to leave her alone with the baby for the evening. I knew she would be up all night, that the kid would cry endlessly, hopelessly, trying to express some essential want without the benefit of language. Without the benefit of language. He would have laughed at that. He came out here to escape language, to this place, this small pocket of wilderness, this green splotch of a different earth. Will it make you feel better? My wife asked. I thought hard on that one. I don't know, I said finally, but she agreed to let me come anyway, to this place he loved so much. My father. My father loved it here, loved the camping, the cold, fresh air, the stillness, the endless clouds, the natural mural of the stars at night. He called it a beautiful place. And if I remember right, I just have to follow the path and then look for the rocks. They should lead right to the camp. The Great Void, he called it, but he didn't mean it in a bad way. The truth is, I never felt the same. I mean, sure, I feel the Great Void too, but it's different. To me, the void is an indifferent emptiness, a profound hollow, the unspeakable lack of something human. I think to him it was rather the opposite. Instead, the void was brimming, overflowing even, with just so much, I guess he would call it life. But whether out here in this loneliness or back in the city with the reek of civilization and warm bodies, it was all the same to me. You're too much in your own head, he would always tell me. But consider the opposite, I would reply jokingly. Would you rather I were out of my mind? I can't see anything. Is that the right rock? Am I lost? I can imagine what he'd say. You're lost in the city, bud, he would smile. That's why you come out here, to locate yourself. I want to say I'm headed the right way. How many times did I take this hike with him? He used to walk so fast he would put half a mile between us. Then, as the years passed, he was the one that lagged behind. Don't wait on me, he would say. Slow and steady, isn't that how it goes? Slow and steady. Slow and steady, old man. Yeah. I never could whistle, even after years of him trying to teach me. We used to have a dog that Dad would kick around when he got drunk and the dog did something to offend him. He named her Autumn. I guess he liked the leaves during that time of year. Autumn sometimes got into the garbage, tearing the bags, spreading soiled packaging and potato peels all over the kitchen. And that was enough to set the old man off if he was coming home from the bar late at night, opening the front door to a floor full of garbage. We were all too young to stop him at the time. Of course, the dog didn't understand the why of it, the why of any of it. She'd whimper, cower, tail between her legs, trying to run to us. How can you forgive an act like that?
or a series of acts that add up to something like a brutal tendency. Sure, he loved the dog, loved Autumn. In fact, the first time I remember seeing him openly weep was the day she died of a heart attack. But why do we hurt the ones we love so badly? In the absence of the love we think we deserve, do we hurt those close to us? Not out of punishment, but because forgiveness, or its possibility, is a suitable substitute.
Turn left at the final rock. You can't miss it, he'd say. I never miss it, I always joked. In fact, I never miss anything about this place. Well, he said, someday you might, bud. Someday you might. But I never did. Not even after he was gone, and there was actually something to miss. Well, this is the spot. It always felt good when we reached the camp, but having arrived, I never knew what to do. Go through the motions, I guess. Start a fire, pitch a tent. Will it make you feel better? My wife asked before I left today. Better than what? I should have responded. But that question would have been more for me than for her. Well, that's that. Time to settle in, I guess. It's gonna be a long night. Look up, boy, the old man said. It's time travel. It's the old adage that the light of all the stars we see in the sky is ages old, that what we're really seeing is the imprint of some lost past. Ancient light, in other words. There's an idea that if we could only go fast enough, faster than light itself, that we can travel so far away from the planet and back again, that we actually end up in the past, the way a distant galaxy would see us. I mean, it's all relativity. But that idea means we can imagine righting the wrongs, or changing the past, or somehow, against all reason, saving a life. Like his life. His dumb life. We used to stare up at the stars together. There's nothing that keeps us on this planet, he said, except our lack of imagination. In the dark like this, in the glow of the firelight, my imagination does strange things. I even see him, as real as my hands, or the fists I make with them. Let me tell you something about the way of things, the way of the world, he said. Ain't nothing fair about it, ain't nothing good about it. But we don't have to like it, and we don't have to accept any of its shit. He might have spit after that, or maybe he cried. I don't remember. You're prone to depression, son. You always have been, he said later, us both around this same fire, lit by another log culled from another dead tree. I guess you get that from your mama, he continued. Or from me. He paused for a moment, and then wrinkled his face, dissatisfied with himself, the familiar transition from grief to anger. But that's no excuse, he said. You've always been soft, never embraced what I tried to impart on you. Now, I've not been perfect, not by a long shot. I've hated you kids at times, you and your sisters. I've cheated on your mother, too. Not systematically, mind you, but once or twice over the years. Hell, I'm nobody's saint. I tried to tell him that I didn't know what he was talking about, that I was fine, just fine. And what was he getting at anyway? I ignored his confessions. I'm just trying to tell you something that matters, he said. I guess that's what all those trips here were about. Him trying to pretend to be a wise father, and me pretending to be the eager son. And here, now, what was I pretending to be? This cold darkness, this fire here, this controlled destruction? What was I out here for? For nothing. No, he would probably have said. For everything. The fire crackles, the stars shine soundlessly above, ever present but untouchable, as if to gloat, like a great eye staring down at all of us, swirling, impossible, unreachable. How are we to compete with that? This peek into the vast past of the cosmos, promising us we will accomplish exactly nothing with our lives. He died a dumb drunk. I hadn't talked to him in 2 years. It wasn't a falling out, it was a falling away. Something that happens over many years in between words, in the interstitial spaces between greetings and farewells. It happens first over drinks, and then it happens between those two. I got a call from my oldest sister. "Dad's dead," she said. "We have to, figure out arrangements." We went through the motions, invited the relevant family, paid for the tombstone, made our eulogies, buried the man. We put him in the ground, dirt on the casket and everything. And that was enough for some people. Enough for my sisters, anyway. Maybe. I don't know. But it wasn't enough for me. And that's why I'm here, by myself, in the dark, in the cold, the warm glow of this fire. Nothing between me and the memory of him. This damn place he loved so much. And me trying so fucking hard to understand why. This stupid place. Why did he love it so much? He loved his woods, his camping, his escape. He did. He loved it more, perhaps, than he ever loved us. And maybe that's why I'm here? Not to feel better, but to feel something. By being in the place that he loved, maybe I thought I could feel a little of what it was like to be loved by him. But I don't feel anything. Just tired. Tired and ready for bed. Every late night fire in the morning turns to ash. Because yada yada, nothing lasts, and all that. But that doesn't feel like a revelation. It feels like a reminder. I should head back to the car, down the hill to the rock, turn right, follow the other rocks down the path, all the way to the car. Try not to get lost. Yeah, easier said than done. Ooh, a little chilly this morning. And what if when we do things we say are for others, we really do them for ourselves? And then, what if they don't help us either? Hey there, little guy. Strange how such a little thing can make you feel so happy to be alive. A small white rabbit could be dead tomorrow, but today it's munching on some leaves, nose twitching, eyes alert. And it didn't even run away from me. Huh. Almost makes you feel like a good person. I've heard that people don't realize their parents are people until they are parents themselves. Or at least what some people call adults, whatever that means. That people don't recognize that our parents all have pasts without us, and futures in which we are not the center. Interior lives, postponed or unrealized dreams, secret fears, scars they never share, memories, trauma. And we'd never know unless you ask. And most people never ask. I know I never did. Is that because we're afraid of the answers we might get? In gaining the human side of our parents, are we afraid we'd lose the mother and father parts? In the eyes we think our parents see us through, are we always children? Or is it that just the way we'd prefer it?
I miss Rebecca, my wife, and Ellie, our little girl, and it's not yet been a full day. There are times when Ellie is bawling, inconsolable, where Rebecca is at her wit's end, when work is overwhelming, when the bills pile up, when I feel crushed by everything that together defines my stupid life. That I just want to escape, run away, break all ties, chase the horizon. Times when I want to just give up. But here I am, 24 hours without any of that. And all I can think of, all I want to do, is return home to my family. My family. I never thought in a million years I would be that guy. This guy. I guess we don't know our future selves, and if we did, we would probably do everything in our power to turn out differently. Maybe the same urge a teenager has to rebel against her parents.
The first time I got drunk, the summer before freshman year at college, I stumbled home the next morning. Dad was watching the Weather Channel. "How's it going?" he asked, half paying attention. "I feel like death," I replied, my face pale. He laughed to himself. "You better get used to it," he said. Should I resent the fact that he didn't chastise me at the time, or warmly remember the way he smiled and shook his head, as if, through me, he was reliving a lost period of his own life, some fleeting and wild youth he soon gave up for a life full of unappreciative children, a job at the local paper mill, a litany of half-completed home improvement projects, a series of broken-down cars in the driveway, garage, and lawn, and morning after morning after morning of waking up to it all again to realize all that might have been.
Just one night, I told her. To honor him, I said. Will it make you feel better? My wife asked. I don't know, I said. But that was the before, and here, now, this is the after. If I'm quiet, I can hear the birds that, if not for their songs, would be invisible. Most things here are like that. And maybe it wasn't about me feeling better or feeling anything in particular. Maybe it was about the doing, and now, the having done. Like visiting a gravestone of sorts. Not out of guilt or grief or even love, because sometimes it's none of those things. But just to have visited it, to have stood in the same spot as the dead, to have tried to, even in failure, see through their eyes, and not the eyes you always pretended they saw you through, but their actual eyes. The eyes as warm as distant starlight, like small universes, a vast array of light we can reach for but never touch. You know, it really is a beautiful place.
When father bought the farm, we sold the farm, stuck his blood for rustic charm, sold his ghost as an antique to the city. And kids today can't hold a spade. Rest in peace, your weary trades. In this world there is no place, such a pity. Well, the barman shakes his head and fills my glass, says we're living in the past. Why preserve a dying craft and its misery? We sigh and say another modern man one of property, not land. So I'll hold out this battered hand. Will you listen? Come sit down, we're lamenting about yesterday's sad ending, about the water in me whiskey. The brass passed off as gold, another round. We're descending into old time memory of a day when wood was wooden, silver, silver, gold was gold, sweet home was home. So you say you got a wood stove in your second home, runs on gas but looks like oak. Hell, it even gives off smoke and glowing embers. There's a quilt hung on the wall, reads home sweet home, below some wise words from Thoreau. And they call me a throwback when I cry, remember, come sit down. We're lamenting about yesterday's sad ending, about the water in me whiskey. The brass passed off as gold, another round. We're descending into old time memory of a day when wood was wooden, silver, silver, gold was gold, sweet home was home. Son, these tools are artifacts. Endangered species left its tracks. So lock me up behind plastic glass in the city. There's no going back for me. This antique's rustic eulogy shall be sold as folk artistry. Such a pity. But I'll never understand why they all long to use those hands to build a stead that will always stand in old-time country, but settle for white rooms and hollow doors, paper ceilings, padded floors, luxury boxes where you're stored in what was country. Come sit down, we're lamenting about yesterday's sad ending, about the water in me whiskey. The brass passed off as gold, another round. We're descending into old time memory of a day when wood was wooden, silver, silver, gold was gold, another round. We're lamenting about yesterday's sad ending, about the water in me whiskey. The brass passed off as gold, another round. We're descending into old time memory of a day when wood was wooden, silver, silver, gold was gold, sweet home was home.